Hi, I'm Janie. Welcome back to the League-Kempner House here in Galveston, Texas. It is kind of the calm before the storm right now, and hopefully that's figurative, not literal. We've had about as much rain as we can handle, but one of the final things we're doing to finish up our water issue here in this U-shaped area is to do the permanent pit here for the gutter to empty into and then go into our drainage system out into the yard. So you can see here, I bought just on Amazon, you can find anything, a hot dip galvanized grate that's going to go under here. We're going to have to cut our gutter off about right here. I marked it in the dirt. And this is one of those things that's been bothering me for a long time. I put just a old plastic tub under here temporarily to keep dirt from going in and getting in the drain, but it needs a permanent solution. And the thing that struck me with the tub is when it does rain, it holds water, and we have a huge mosquito problem. So anytime you can get rid of standing water, that's a good thing. So I've been thinking and thinking and thinking about this, and it just struck me the other day when I was driving to use cinder blocks. And I was also trying to solve the problem of not being too complicated and too labor intensive with a bunch of masonry. I've shopped online for 2 months on prefab culverts and cast concrete things and just couldn't find anything workable. But I came up with the idea in my head to stack 2 cinder blocks side by side and then 2 the other way, 2 this way, 2 that way. And basically that'll create 4 columns, vacant columns down to the bottom, and not put any concrete down there till just let it seep into the ground. So it will create a nice space to catch water. Ricardo can brick around the pipe, set our grate. We're going to set it close to the level of the door here because we'll add sand and lift these pavers up at some point and create a slope going that way. But that'll be simple. It's a matter of digging the hole, just putting the blocks in, and then doing something to finish off the top and the grate so we can bring the pavers up to it. We may not even have to brick. We may just be able to bring the pavers up to the edge of the grate. It's also not permanent. It can be removed if we have to get in here and do any other work at some point. It would be easy to get this thing out. I don't know if you remember the video of me using the sledgehammer to get the little tiny shallow basin out over there. It was a lot of work. And this is going to go about 3 feet down into the ground. So I was kind of excited about that. I see their trucks pulling up, so they're going to get to work. A lot went on in the basement yesterday, just a lot of progress. And today we're also waiting on the electrician to come and get started here. So it's going to be another busy day. Speaking of mosquitoes, I need to go spray myself a little better and get to work myself. So nothing is ever really that easy. I have this design in my brain, and somehow I have to get it out of my brain and over into Maribel's brain so that she can explain it to Ricardo and Juan so that they can actually do the work. And it's a little bit complicated because these pipes come in at an angle. They're not coming in perpendicular to the wall. So Maribel and I got the cinder blocks out and the grate, and we used a flower pot to be the pipe and kind of built everything above ground so they could visualize and see what I was thinking. Yeah, so if you brick around, yeah, until this can be flat on top. Mm-hmm. So we'll brick just above the pipe just so we can get.
El ladrillo va a ir todo así. No sé si le pongan uno aquí.
That's a lot of water. Oh, it's gonna get a bigger bucket, like a bigger boat, like Jaws. We're gonna need a bigger bucket. Let me get my snips and go ahead and see if I can cut. Or do you have your grinder? Do you have your grind? It may be easier
Hay que cortar aquellos.
to go ahead and cut that off first
Ujú. Hay
and
que
make some
cortar
more
esos
room
blancos.
and cut the pipes. Yeah.
Las papas blancas donde está marcada ahí.
Oh, aquí. Aquí no tiene-
Yeah,
Sí.
yeah. You cut that off.
Ok.
Yeah,
Tiene
make give
sopa.
more room.
Con el soso.
You have salsa.
Sí, ya.
Ya.
Pero no sé si trabaja mejor la hoja con dientes delgaditos.
Okay. Ahorita le pongo las dos.
And if we do it wrong, we can always put a coupling on it and put it back. So it's not irreversible. I should have mentioned in the beginning that we are still in that one crazy, insane week where so much was going on. This is back towards the end of June. We haven't even had our fashion show yet. Remember, we finished the grading, we brought in the grass, we planted the trees, the electricians put up the weatherhead and pulled the cable. Ricardo was replacing the kitchen joist. This is still in that crazy time when so much is going on. And if you remember, I think I showed you the before where Juan had been repairing this weirdly damaged place in the chauffeur's quarters. He got that done. We put up the caulk. Just so much activity. All right, we agonized over the color match, and it's not great, but I will get some paint and come back and paint it. It's paintable, and maybe faux paint it to look like the wall, but it's better than having a ginormous water leak in the house. I didn't go to the concrete dump today. I was very sad, but look, Ricardo's sending pictures of things he thinks I might like, so he's bringing me back some paver stones. So, yay, Ricardo, he knows me very well.
Yes.
Back to the baling. All right, that's easier. He's got more room. We were going to cut those anyway. So, you know, Mabel, even if we only get 2 sets of blocks in there, that's enough, because that's not very deep. I was just thinking the deeper we could go, the better. But if it's only 2, that's no different than that bucket.
Exactly
So
like you have down.
yeah, well, I mean 4, two layers.
Dígame.
Alright, it's a simple concept. It's just very awkward to work here. And what they're hitting is part of the old footings of the house. In a perfect world, we would have put this pit in before the gutter ever got installed or these drain lines got installed. But remember, we have no money, so sometimes we have to do things when we can. And the roofer had to get the gutter in, and then it took us a while to figure out the drains and get those laid out properly and make sure it would even work right. And if you recall, our volunteer Ann and I and Kelly chipped in digging this trench. My husband came and laid this pipe. It was a very long, arduous process. So while my concept was very simple, the execution of it not so much. Because of this cramped space, there's the wall of the building behind us, there's the gutter above, these pipes coming in, and those cinder blocks are big and bulky, and they're hard to maneuver, so they need a big enough hole to get them in there and get them placed properly and get them level. Guys stuck with it. They are pros, and eventually they worked it out. And now, unfortunately, I did not get a shot of them putting them in there because this was that insanely crazy day like we talked about before, and I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off because there was so much going on. And we're not a scripted show. These guys work. We don't set up and stage work and film it. They just work, and we try to catch as we can. And I got distracted because Ricardo was thoughtful enough to find me some good stuff at the dump. What did you find me? Florida brought presents. We have the concept. We have some geometry issues with the angle of the pipe and where we need to put the grate. Shockingly, everything went in and it worked pretty well. There were some issues at how those pipes came in at an angle and where this grate needed to be, but we got all of that worked out, and then they filled in the gap around the cinder blocks with some very, very coarse, heavy masonry sand. We didn't want to pack that real fine sand in there because remember, this whole point is to create almost a vertical French drain. Any water that goes in there that doesn't flow out the pipe at the top, we don't want it to sit there and be full of water and breed mosquitoes. So we want it to absorb into the ground and have that water eventually soak in. So it's kind of design as you go.
¿Ah? Sí. Quítate un poco, hincho. Ahí con eso, ya no me la aplasta bien. Allá le ponemos el ladrillo allá, con mezcla.
No lo quiero así abierto por el agua.
¿Eh?
No lo quiero así abierto por el agua, pues digo que nomás.
No, estos dice que los quieres solo.
Yeah, I just don't want to completely close off that hole. As long as there's any part of it showing, it'd be okay. Once the sand was put around it, we had a long discussion about how to finish it off because we don't want that sand going in and filling up those vacant shafts in the cinder block. Yeah, you could lay some of your blocks right there. We have a way to go, but this is shaping up nicely. Doesn't look like it, but it's going to look great. Alright, still waiting on the grass guys to come back. These got all cleaned up and now they're ready to go. I need to find a place where we can use them. I got an idea for the pavers. One, 2, 3, 4. How about, what if we put them over here, maybe? I had an idea. Coming out of the greenhouse here. Oops. What if we did 3 across? Okay. 1, 2, 3, and just come however wide they are. Just come out. Okay. And just set them even with the floor there. Okay. Okay. All right. Grass is done. Oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I have to be here and water the grass. I have to go home and make the food for the fashion show. Looks good. All right. Perfect. Yeah, we'll have to get the hoe and hoe them down a little bit. Here, I'll go get the hoe for you. Let me go find the hoe. You the hoe, not the hoe. You the hoe. Might need to put a little bit. We need to put a little bit of sand under that.
Está muy alto, ¿verdad?
No, está muy abajo.
Yeah, perfect. Maybe a little bit in this corner.
This one?
This one. Yeah, that's great.
Espérame, lo voy a poner
Yeah, that's perfect.
en la cajita.
After it rains, we can come back and level them a little more too.
Creo que hay que ponerle güero abajo a esto.
Tierra.
Sí.
I love my free pavers that Ricardo scored for us at the dump. Look how perfect this turned out.
Porque eran 10. Ahí está. Son todas, ¿no?
Do we have enough for
3.
3 more?
Yes.
Perfect. Y'all are going to get just the most jumbled video ever. Okay, so I am back mixing up just a little bit of the epoxy. We have one more joist to do. Ricardo's already got it cut. They're in there jackhammering to make a pocket for it. Ricardo and Juan had a big debate about how to do this. Ricardo won, so he's actually doing it. Getting our, and then we're getting a hole drilled for an outdoor light for the apartment. And Maribel's packing up tools. And Joe is giving 8 tours. So that wrapped up an incredibly busy couple of weeks. And I shouldn't say wrap up because there is still so much to do. I have to get home. I have to do a lot of baking for the fashion show. We have to get here early in the morning and set up and get that going. And let's just take a quick look at just how fabulous it turned out. I want to take a moment to thank everyone who helped so much with this. All our volunteers, Letitia particularly for pulling this together, Janine and Kim of the Victorian Lady for pulling all these fabulous dresses together and putting on another great show. And then to those of you who bought our sponsorships and tickets to come, to the Window Box Florist in Galveston for providing us some gorgeous decorations. They've been a longtime supporter. Thanks to everyone, and of course Broadway Church of Christ, who has been the most fabulous neighbor to us from the very beginning. They are so generous with their facilities. We use their building, we use their trash cans, we use their parking, anything and everything we can use that they have. They are gracious to volunteer and let us take advantage of it. They are just a fabulous group of folks over there. So it turned out to be a lovely day. It was well worth it. I think everyone really enjoyed this show. So I will just leave you with these incredible dresses. And then the next day was Sunday, which was my day of rest to regenerate a little bit because Ricardo and crew are coming back on Monday, and we are going to kick off possibly the most nerve-wracking project other than the stained glass windows. That was pretty nerve-wracking. This is probably the second most nerve-wracking project that we have going. We're going to demolish the kitchen, and I may cry a little bit. But it needs to be done. It's a safety issue. We've talked about it a lot. So hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because you don't want to miss next week when we tackle this awful, awful project. So thanks for watching. We are the League-Kempner House in Galveston. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you back next week.